Hey y'all, it's DIY Alex back with another tutorial Tuesday, and this one's a bit of a surprise because it's actually, and you know what, I just realized I forgot to mute my computer. Hold on. This normally would be my off week with our videos, but I had something really fun that I wanted to talk to you about, and it is time sensitive, so I decided to go live anyway. And we are going to sublimate something that I have never sublimated before. So I'm super excited to hang out with all of you and try out this process and honestly just see how it goes. I'm having some technical difficulties, which is why I was a little late getting started, but I'm a little early for our usual time. So we'll see how many friends join us today because I'm sure several of you will be thrown off. You'll be like, what the heck, Alex, you're early. You're late, but you're early. Which is the most Alex thing I've ever heard. So I'm going to see if I can get this to work, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do an overhead angle. So we may be just working with this camera. And if that's the case, that's okay. We will make it work. I'll zoom in a little bit here so that everyone can see. But let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay in the comments so that I know that we are otherwise pretty well connected. I'm going to wrap this around my C-stand so that it's not hanging down in the camera view because I suspect my second camera view is not going to work, sadly, which is a huge bummer because it's super, super helpful. Hi, Candace. Hey, Stephanie. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Yeah, my phone's... So I have a second iPhone that I use just for camera stuff, and it's not connecting to my software. So I have a feeling we're just going to stick with this, but that's okay. Hey, Cassandra. Hi, Jess's Craft. Hey, Renee. Welcome, welcome. Okay, good. You can hear and see. Good deal. Hey, Lori. Welcome. So, yeah, we might just have to turn things around and focus on the front camera, which is fine. I'll go ahead and turn this one off, and then I'll give everyone a chance to join us because, like I said, I know I'm throwing you off with the time a little bit. My mom is actually on her way, so I wanted to do my live a little early and get it all done. So it's going to be fun. I know, Candace, look at this baby bump. I am 21 weeks pregnant this week, so baby is getting huge. And actually, I had a doctor's appointment last week, and he is measuring a little bit big. Not crazy big, but just a couple of days ahead of where I actually am. And they said that he had a little bit of a big head. And I kind of thought he might be big. So we'll see. But I think he might be a big boy. Hey, Roseanne, welcome. Hey, welcome. I don't know if you're Derek or Mendy, but welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Felicia. Hi, Louise. Yeah, this is going to be super fun. I'm excited to do this project with you guys because normally you guys know one of my things that I always tell you is that I normally never do things for the first time on camera, but I am going to do something new on the camera today, and you're going to be really surprised that I've never done it before because honestly, I'm surprised at me that I've never done it before, so I figured we would just do it together. Oh, thanks, Candace. You're so sweet. I am definitely feeling pregnant, that's for sure. Even this morning, even though like a lot of my morning sickness has gone away for the most part, this morning I was super tired because I didn't sleep very well last night and I was fighting the nausea all morning. So, you know, that's just how it goes when you're going to have a baby. Stephanie said my son was like that. Also, on the ultrasound, this little guy was a wild child. He was flinging all over the place and dancing, and he didn't want to show us his face. So I think that I am going to have a ball of energy when little boy comes in September, but that's okay because that's the fun of having kids, right? Oh, welcome. Okay, good to know. Hi, Mendy. Welcome. Renee said, my doctor said that with my youngest, I told him he could have kept that to himself. I know. Well, and that's, I had mentioned that I thought he was going to be big, and she said, well, we're either, you know, Andrew was with me, and she said, the sonographer was like, were either of you big babies? And I said, no, not really. I just feel really big all of a sudden. So it's fun. It's fun though. It's fun because I started feeling him a couple weeks ago, so I get to feel him move pretty much every day. He's not always super active, but he really likes when I get in the shower. I let the water run over my belly, and he always moves for me in the shower. So who knows what that means when he actually gets here. But I think he can probably feel something, you know, through my belly, and it's cute. So I'm excited. That's what I tell him. I'm like, you better be cute because, man, you are really putting us through the ringer, buddy. But that's okay. All right, well, anyway, let me put my phone away, and then we will get started into this project because it's going to be really fun. So hang on. I'm going to stick this over here and grab something else I wanted to talk about today. So one thing I need to do still is I wanted to make a reel using all of my sublimation fails and a lot of my craft fails that I have hung on to, just because I think it's funny to see all of the progress. And oftentimes you guys never see the projects that never worked out, because typically, you know, those are not the types of things I'm going to show you, right? But I definitely have lots of failed projects. I don't save them all. A lot of times I do get rid of them, but I have been saving the last few for the last couple of months. This is not all of them, but just a handful of them. So I thought we would talk about that too, since we're talking all about sublimation and Sublimation Camp and everything else. Oh, that's interesting, Candace. She said, I thought swimming pregnant was neat. That's a good idea. That could be fun because he really seems to like the water for some reason. I don't know what it is in there he's feeling, but he really likes the water because that was the first place I ever felt him move, and he moves for me almost every day when I get in the shower. So it's funny. Oh, Renee said he said that when he was very close to my due date. Yeah, nothing like a little bit of anxiety, right? Like, oh yeah, thanks. I'm really already nervous and you're just making it worse. So anyway, we'll talk about my craft fails here in a few minutes. Maybe we'll do that while my cup is cooling down or something like that. But I did want to talk about them because I think it's worth talking about. I think it's worth showing you that I mess up and I don't always do things right. And because this is going to be new for me, there's a really good chance that I won't do this all right today. So we'll see. So while we are prepping the project, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my tumbler press and get it heating. So I am using a Hotties. I never know how to say that right because I always feel like I am saying it funny. But I'm using a Hotties UV changing tumbler from 143 vinyl. Now this is the green UV changing, and I will say if you've bought any of these from 143 vinyl, they do change differently depending on the color that they are. So I've noticed that like the pink is a bit brighter, but like the purple, the orange, the green, they are pretty subtle. And I bought so many of these when 143 came out with them, and I have hardly used any of them. So I am on a mission to start going through some of my craft supplies and actually using the things that I've bought over the years. And so that's why I'm using this one. And what we're going to be doing with it today is I have never sublimated a full wrap 20-ounce tumbler. Never, ever. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I actually printed out two just in case I mess up one while I'm cutting the lines. But that's what we're going to be trying today. And it's not super crazy. That's not a crazy thing to do, is to sublimate a 20-ounce full wrap tumbler, but I have never tried it personally. So I figured that I would try it on the live with you, and we're going to see how it goes. And then after that, we're going to talk about Sublimation Camp that I have coming up, because I have talked about Sublimation Camp, I feel like a bunch. If you follow me on the other social media platforms, you've heard me talk about it quite a bit. But I haven't specifically talked about it on YouTube besides the short that I posted yesterday. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about it today because I want you guys to know about it in case you want to take advantage of it, because I really don't want you to miss out. So that's what I have in store for us today. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to stick my Hotties box on the floor because we don't need it. And I'm going to remove the lid because we're not going to utilize that. And I'm going to be playing with something that I got new, which is really, really cool. I got this silicone pad from Artistry, and it's basically like a pad that would go in the bottom of your heat press, or like a heat resistant pad. So this is just something else that we can rest our hot products on after sublimating, besides a Cricut Easy Press mat. Because I already have a Cricut Easy Press, so I own an Easy Press mat. But I wanted to try one of these out, and Artist Free sent this to me as part of our Sublimation Camp Counselor box. So I didn't purchase it, but I think it's a really cool product. So I want to try it out, and maybe you guys will want one too if you need it. Because I always am concerned about warping my table, especially when I take out things like tumblers and glass out of my press that are really, really hot. So it's really cool to know that there are products out there besides the Easy Press mat that we can use. In fact, I could probably use this with my Easy Press, I bet. The Easy Press mat is a little thicker than this, I think, but it's basically just like a silicone pad that you would have on the bottom of your heat press. So that's kind of cool too. So I'm playing with that also. So yeah. I think this is, yeah, it's a 12 by 12 inch one, which I like because that's going to be pretty much the size of most things I would press. So that works out really well. Renee said, I have some of those and didn't know what to do with them. Ooh. Oh, maybe some of these UV tumblers. So here you go. We can try this out. And Candace said she sublimated a few. Hey, Dee, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So before I go ahead and cut up my tie-dye pieces, I am going to go ahead and set my tumbler press. Now I am using my PYD Life. Whoops, hold on. Let me turn it around for you so you can see it, or at least I'll turn it to the side so we can kind of all see it there. I am using the PYD Life tumbler press, and I do have it linked for you guys down in the description below. If you are looking for a tumbler press, this is my favorite that I have tried so far. There are lots of great ones out there. This one, the one that I have specifically, has two different insert sizes. So the metal insert has like a large and a small size. And I really like that for the straight tumblers. Now, as far as I know, this thing cannot do anything that's tapered or anything like that. This would only be for straight walled tumblers, like 20-ounce ones, glass cans, things like that. But I use this one far and away more than anything else that I use. So, okay, good, Renee. Yeah, the UV tumbler. So here you go. Maybe we'll get an idea. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my tumbler press. I did go ahead and cheat a little bit. Before we started our live, I stuck my tumbler inside the tumbler press already to check the pressure. And actually, I'm going to turn it back off and I'm going to show you guys something. So one thing that can be a little bit tricky when you've got multiple sizes of inserts like this is deciding which one you need for the size of your project. Now, the glass cans that I use the most in this are a little bit wider. So a lot of times I have to use this larger size because I'm using the large size insert in my tumbler press. But I did get out my small size and I'll show you the difference. Hang on. So in case you've never worked with a tumbler press before, this is what the inserts look like. And then all you do is you just put the screws in the top here to put it inside your heat press, inside your tumbler press. So this particular PYD Life press comes with these two. This is the large that's already in my heat press, and this is the small one. And the reason I knew I wanted to use the large one is because when I put my tumbler in here, you do want somewhat of a gap. But look how big the gap is here. That is an enormous gap in my design, and it really doesn't go very far around my tumbler. So I knew this one definitely wasn't the right one, but when I put it inside the big one, the wrap does come almost all the way together. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but the gap is very small right here. So that's not necessarily ideal for a tumbler press. So, I mean, the large is definitely the better fit. I will say that. But it's not necessarily ideal. But it's going to work out just fine because what we'll do is we will sublimate for half the time. And then we'll flip it so that the top seam still gets plenty of coverage. So I hope all that makes sense. For those of you who have not worked with a tumbler press before, I thought you might want some insight there because that was something that really confused me about tumbler presses. Until I had one that I could play with, I didn't understand exactly like how to know what to use. You know what I mean? So you can just try it on your blanks and see how it fits. So that's how I figured that out. Okay. And I'm gonna have to peek at the 143 website again so that I can set it to the right temperature. So I'm on the 143 website on the hotties page, and that's where I got the settings for this. And they suggest a temperature of 325 degrees, and then the time is 150 to 165 seconds. Now, I have found that I do like my time to go a little on the higher end, because a lot of times if I do it on the lower end, I don't get as much of a color transfer as I want. So I will probably do the upper end of this, and I might do like 160 seconds so that I can split it easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my tumbler press and set it. It's set right now to 400, so I'm gonna lower that to 325. I'm just holding the button down. Okay, so 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're gonna raise this to 160. So that way we are fully set, 325 degrees for 160 seconds. Now, one thing that you do want to keep in mind though, is you want to always double check your temperature on your time on your press each time that you turn it on. Because a mistake that I have made in the past is I have forgotten, if I only set the tumbler press to half of the time, I'll forget that I set my press to that, and then I'll accidentally only press my blank for 50% of the time it needs, if that makes sense. So always double check if you're unsure. Always double check on the time and the temperature before you get started so that you don't make a mistake and ruin your blank. So while that's working, we'll go ahead and cut these out. Like I said, I cut 2 of them in case I make a mistake. But I'm only going to need 1 because that's all that's going to wrap around my tumbler. Oh, we got some questions. Candace said, oh, good, Roseanne. I'm glad you're off work too. A Sweet Southern Mess said, hello all. I'm uber new to this Cricut and crafting mania. I'm overwhelmed and ready to send back. I understand completely. I also have the Cricut mug heat press. Is this best to have that you're showing? So that's a good question. I would say that the piece of equipment that you need depends on what you're going to be doing. So the Cricut mug press specifically works with ceramic coffee mugs. Now, some people do use the Cricut mug press with other types of products, and that's okay to do too. But what the mug press is programmed to do is ceramic mugs. So honestly, it kind of depends on what you're interested in doing. But if this is too overwhelming for you, I recommend just taking a step back and not really worrying about sublimation right now, besides what you have the capacity to do. So you could go ahead and sublimate on ceramic mugs if you want, but I wouldn't worry about adding a ton of accessories until you just feel like you're comfortable and excited and ready, because it's not going to be perfect, but you don't want to try to get into all this stuff all at once, because you are looking at a craft space that has been in the works for me for, I got my first Cricut at the end of 2016. So we're talking like, what is that, 7, 8 years that I've been doing this kind of stuff and stuff like that. So don't try and have everything that everyone else does. Just concentrate on what you want to do and then take it a step at a time from there. That's what I would recommend. Candace said, I use mine higher to 60 seconds and then turn 180 degrees in another 60 seconds. Yeah, that's a good point, Candace. Sometimes you do have to adjust it yourself. I have not sublimated a ton of these, so I honestly don't remember what settings I used last time. So I'm going to go off the suggested settings, but based on if we get a good ink release and different things like that, I may adjust that going forward. Yep, exactly, Roseanne. There is a learning curve, Sweet Southern Mess, but you'll get it, and it's a lot of fun. Roseanne says she prefers her convection oven, and that's something I still haven't tried either. I'm talking to PYD Life about possibly trying theirs because I know so many of you are curious about that. But it's interesting. Candace said, I've used my Cricut mug press for a 20-ounce tumbler, but it's a pain. Yeah, I have heard the same thing, Candace. Just because you have to do a lot of different things to it to get all the sides sublimated, and it's a lot. So that's why I would suggest taking it just one step at a time, trying not to get too overwhelmed, because it's very, very easy to do. And sublimation, and I would consider sublimation a little more advanced than Cricut stuff, not necessarily because it's all that hard, but just because there's a lot more nuance to it. With Cricut stuff, you can pretty much tell people exactly what the time and temperature they're gonna need to use because they just follow the manufacturer recommendations. Whereas with sublimation, you have to do a lot more trial and error. And that's where I think things get a little bit dicey. So that's why I would suggest just kind of taking it one step at a time. So I'm just gonna trim all the white space off of these prints so that, oh, darn it. This is exactly why I printed too. I need to get a new blade on my Cricut paper trimmer, and sometimes it does this. So I'm just gonna use scissors to trim this off because this print is the exact size that I need it for my 20-ounce tumbler. So I'm not gonna use this right now. Oh, good. I'm glad you appreciate it. And because I said, I understand that when you get on YouTube and you see people like me and you're like, oh, like I gotta get this, I gotta get that. You don't. You just do what you need to do and what you're excited about. I have hundreds of videos to help you with all the Cricut stuff. I'm just making sure that I keep up with the craft world, but you do what works best for you. Don't worry about that. So my cutting will probably be terrible, full disclosure, because I'm terrible at cutting with scissors, but I'm gonna trim off the white space as close as I can get it so that I have nice straight lines, for the most part, to work with on my tumbler. You guys, I have just like a super thin edge that I need to cut off here. There we go. There. So not perfect, but I trimmed all the white space off of one side. And then I'm gonna trim a lot of the white off over here, but maybe not all of it because I will need some overlap so that I can tape my stuff in place. Roseanne said, I agree with DIY Alex, take it easy on yourself and try the simple things until you feel comfortable and then add something else. Yeah, I agree. Because it's super easy to look around and be like, oh my gosh, I need everything. I need to get started right now. And it's fun and it's exciting, but sometimes it kind of sucks the fun out because then it's not fun anymore. You're like, this is stressful. And you don't want it to be stressful if you can, you know? Sometimes learning new things is stressful, but taking it one step at a time is less stressful for sure. Oh, and by the way, I got this design from Creative Fabrica, the design that I'm using, and it is sized for a 20-ounce tumbler. So if you want to grab it, I have it linked for you down in the description below, so you can do that. And the nice thing is, like I said, it's pretty well sized for most 20-ounce tumblers. So I didn't do any resizing for mine. Oh, you subscribed to my channel a few weeks ago, but you've been so terrified. You just favorite place for when you get brave enough. Honestly, my best advice to those of you who are beginners, hey, Michelle, welcome. So glad that you're here. My best advice to you, I don't know what your first name is, Sweet Southern Mess, but I recommend just ripping off the Band-Aid and trying it, because the longer that you stay scared of it and you don't try it, the longer that you're gonna put it off for fear of not doing it right. And I'm literally about to, oh, thank you, Connie, you're so sweet. The longer that you wait, the more scared you'll be just to mess it up. But I literally have a whole bin of mess up sublimation products that I'm going to show you here in a few minutes of mine. So don't be afraid of messing up, because it's definitely not something to be afraid of. It's not fun to waste our materials, right? Like, we don't enjoy that, but it's by far the best way to learn. So don't leave your stuff in the box for too long. As soon as you have a free moment, go ahead and get it out and try something. You know, I have lots and lots of videos where you can just get started and just follow the video as close as you can and just give it a shot. Even if it's not perfect, it'll be great. I know, it's easy. And it's super fun to do. It really is super fun. It just takes time. Okay, so I don't know how well this lint roller is gonna work on my tumbler, but I've been touching it a lot. So I am gonna go ahead and quickly lint roll it so that I can get rid of all of anything, like, I don't know, anything that would be stuck on it. Actually worked pretty well. Sometimes, like on ceramic mugs, my lint roller doesn't work like at all. It just gets super stuck. Okay. Michelle said if you mess up a tumbler, just wrap it in vinyl. Yeah, I have all kinds of mess up tumblers, so I am the queen of that, of kind of trying to see what I can do with it next. So because these other pieces on the side are like on the top and bottom, I have a white border, I'm not going to worry about those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to place my tumbler in the center as much as I can, and then I'm going to turn it sideways. And I'm going to try to make sure that I have some ink like a little bit above and a little bit below my tumbler. And I know a lot of people tape edges and all kinds of stuff like that. But since this is my first, so let me give you a good lesson here. Since this is my very first one, I'm going to try not to overthink it. I'm going to do what I think I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to try it and then learn from it instead of spending too much time overthinking it. If that makes any sense. That's my best way to learn, without a doubt. Amen, Roseanne. She said, perfection is overrated. Just have fun. Exactly. That's our goal. Michelle said, so why lint roll and not use alcohol wipes to clean? You know, honestly, Michelle, just because that's what I have handy here, you definitely could use alcohol wipes and they probably would be helpful. I just want to get most of the lint and that kind of stuff off. I'm not super worried about the oils of my hands for the most part. I think the lint roller should pick up everything we need, but we'll find out if not. I'm sure we'll be able to see the spots. Hi, Pam. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap my what's the words? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap my print around one side, and then I'm gonna kind of roll it closed. And here's my plan. So it's not completely straight, but I'm not super worried about that because with tie-dye, I don't even think you're really gonna be able to tell. But this is, well, let me think. No, we don't really want to do that. We're just going to, okay. Okay. So the side that I trimmed that has no white space is what I'm going to put down first. Okay. And then I'm going to stretch the side with the white over top of that so that hopefully there will definitely be a visible seam, but hopefully the side with the side with the white will be on top so that I won't have a white seam. You'll definitely be able to see where the two sides meet, but there won't be a complete white gap. It'll be a colorful gap. Does that make sense? You guys, I don't know. I'm sorry. I would love to tell you that my brain is firing on all cylinders, but I will tell you something. Pregnancy brain is the wildest thing that I have experienced thus far. It feels like I've had COVID for 5 months as far as the brain fog. Like I can describe to you what I'm trying to say, but I cannot get the words out to save my life. Like it is ridiculous. So I don't know if anyone else is like that too, or was like that while pregnant, but man, it is really, really hard for me to get the right words out. So if something doesn't make sense, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to explain again. Okay, so another thing that's really important when you're wrapping your tumblers is that we do need to make sure that we get some good pressure around our paper. We don't want any loose spots. So I am gonna try and pull this as tight as I can, of course, without ripping my paper. So I'm gonna pull it nice and tight and hold it right there on the seam, and then put some tape across. Okay, and so now we have one piece down, which is the hardest part. Now we're just gonna keep that going. I'm gonna keep pulling nice and taut, and then I'm gonna do another couple of pieces, sticking first to the top piece of paper and then pulling across and taping down. And we're gonna hope that that's doing a good enough job. We'll find out, won't we? That's okay. Just like Roseanne said, perfection is overrated. So we're not gonna think too hard about it. We're not gonna suck the fun out by trying to be perfect. We're just gonna do our best. Dee said it never goes away. Brain fog is here to stay. That's literally how it feels, which is absolutely wild to me. Absolutely wild. I know, that's what everybody says, that pregnancy brain just becomes mom brain. And I'm like, oh, good. Looking forward to that. Hey, Alana, I am early, so don't feel bad. My time was early. This is a lot earlier than I normally go live. So that's not you, that's me. Okay. So now I have this seam, and I'm just gonna tape it 3 times. I know a lot of people like to get real crazy with the tape, but I'm gonna try not to do that because I have edges hanging over the top and the bottom, so I don't think that I need to add any tape on the top and bottom. I think this is gonna be tight enough. So again, what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna be hard to see, so I'm gonna explain it first. What I'm gonna do is, let's see, 160, I need to know what number is half of that. So half of 60 is 30, and half of 100 is 50, so 80 seconds. So I'm gonna put my tumbler in my press with the tape side up. I'm gonna close my press and I'm gonna let it go until it gets down to 80. Then I'm gonna use my heat glove to pull it out, flip it 180 degrees, and then we're gonna put it in for another 80 seconds. So to make this easier, I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna set my time down to 80 seconds. Because that way, sorry, that's gonna be beeping. But that way I don't have to remember, I can just go by the timer. Almost there. Okay. So 80 seconds is 50% of our time, but we're gonna do 80 seconds twice. So I'm gonna go ahead and slip my tumbler into the press with the tape side facing up. And then close it and let it go to 80 seconds. That Michelle said, it's me. I get crazy with the tape. I think I might be the only one who's not an over taper. People always joke about that with me. Like they're always like, oh my gosh, I love to tape. And I really feel like I under tape, but I don't feel like I need any more than what I have. Roseanne said, great point. White stripe or not, you can still drink out of the tumbler. Believe it or not, it's still a functional tumbler, which is good. Michelle said, I use the attachment on my StarCraft and I specifically press the ends and turn it. Ooh, interesting. That's a cool idea. Yeah, and I've got the StarCraft tumbler press too. You guys are funny. I know. Brain fog does come along with living. That is so true. I don't think it's always age related. I think it may be because I'm not sleeping very well. Pregnancy is quite the enemy of sleep. So that's what I'm always trying to make sure that I'm getting decent sleep and doing everything I can to get some sleep, because they always say that it's not going to be around for long. Not in this next season for me. Okay, so I'm going to open it up. I'm gonna flip it so that the tape is facing down. And I'm gonna re-put it in my tumbler. Re-put it in my tumbler. Great words, right? Reinsert it into my tumbler press and then press for another 80 seconds. And then we will lay our tumbler out on this silicone mat while it is cooling. Candace said, I'm not ready for mine to move out yet. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, Michelle, you have twin 2-year-olds. That's so sweet. I'm sure you're, I don't know if you think that today, but that's really, really sweet. How cute. My niece and nephew are 6 and 8, and I can't believe that they are as old as they are. Because, of course, I met all of them either the day they were born or within a couple days, because I was in college when Harry was born. But it's so wild to me how fast they have grown up, and every time I see them, I'm like, you guys are massive. Like, how have you grown so much since the last time I saw you? So sweet. Yeah, I'm excited. We're excited to enter this next chapter. I know it'll definitely have its challenges, but we're really, really excited. Okay, we're almost done. There we go. Okay, so got my tumbler press open. I'm gonna pull my tumbler out, and since it's got paper on the top and bottom, I am just gonna go ahead and lay it down. But I think we're gonna go ahead and remove the paper because I've got my tweezers and I want to see what this thing looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and get it. So of course I'm holding it with a heat glove, always with a heat glove, but since my heat gloves are so big, I don't use a heat glove on the hand that has the tweezers because I won't be able to have any fine motor control whatsoever if I have a tumbler, or oh my gosh, if I have a heat glove on my hand. Oh my gosh, you guys, it looks so bright. Ooh, are you ready? Okay. Hold on, I'm going to keep the paper shut. Let me get my other glove on, and then we'll unwrap it. Ooh, I'm nervous. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Ugh, no wiggle my other glove on. There, got it. Okay, ready? Oh, look how bright. That is super cool. You guys, that is so neat. And look at the really great ink release on my StarCraft paper. That was a really, probably a really good time because I don't have a ton of ink left on the center of it. But look how beautiful. Definitely some mistakes here though, and I'll show you because I already see them. But this turned out super cool. There's, of course, a big seam on the back. Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit on my camera and then I'll show you. I'm gonna zoom in super close so that you can see my tumbler a little bit better. Yeah, a lot of you never wait to unwrap. Yeah, I don't usually either. Okay, so let me show you super up close. So there's the seam in the back. So we definitely have a seam and it's not perfectly matched, but the colors are super bright and vivid. And do you guys see the marks around, or the kind of the ghosting and the fading around the top and the bottom? That must be why I see a lot of people using like those silicone bands or tape around the top and bottom to avoid that. So I definitely see some things that I want to do differently, especially like as I get more experienced and get better at this. But ultimately it turned out really well. Like, especially for something that you're, like, if you're not giving it as a gift or anything, I think this is perfectly fine to use and I'll love it. Whether it turns green in the UV light or not, it's honestly really cool. So I think our first attempt was really, really good, really. So see? It pays to just rip off the Band-Aid and go for it because it's really, really easy to let perfection ruin a lot of our crafting. If you guys have heard me talk about this, you already know my story. I consider myself a recovering perfectionist because for years and years and years, I let the idea of not being perfect stop me from trying anything new. I didn't want to try anything new. I would get immediately frustrated with myself if I did something and I didn't do it perfectly the first time. And honestly, you guys, I missed out on so many fun experiences because, like, crafting and otherwise, because I just didn't let myself make mistakes. But mistakes make us human. They're perfectly normal and they're perfectly okay. Plus, they're the best way to learn. Like, they are the best and fastest way to learn is to just try it and make mistakes, because I can already tell you several things that I'm going to do differently next time. So definitely important to just rip off the Band-Aid and go for it, especially things as inconsequential as crafting. I mean, this isn't donating a kidney, right? We don't want to take it too seriously. It's just a craft. It's just a tumbler. So even if we mess it up, that is absolutely fine, and we can get another tumbler, and that's fine. So that's my little lesson of the day for you, and that turned out super fun. So that was really cool. Okay, so let's talk about sublimation in general and some of the things that I wanted to go over with you today, like Sublimation Camp. And if you follow me on the other social media platforms, I apologize if you have heard this 1,000 times. But I realized this morning, and actually the last couple of days, that I have neglected my YouTube people from telling you about Sublimation Camp, because you may only know about it if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or my email list, which are all great things to do, by the way. But I haven't come on and talked about it on YouTube, so I wanted to do a sublimation project and make sure that you guys know about Sublimation Camp so that you can join us if you want to. Let's see what you guys are saying. Yep. Lakedra said that was her. It works with it though because there's white in the image. That's true, Michelle. So I mean, really, you can really play off a lot of these mistakes as like perfectly fine because you can barely even tell. But yeah, like I'm super happy with it. And I know like that's another thing that I used to do is, even though like we are our own biggest critics, I used to be so hard on myself for mistakes that are so inconsequential. Like they're so not a big deal. Like me having white edges on my tumbler, if that's the worst thing that happens to me today, then I am having a great freaking day. If that is the worst news and the worst thing that happens to me, then that's fantastic. And I still learned so much and I had fun anyway. Like those are all great, amazing things. And I printed this off, by the way, on my converted Epson Eco Tank, and the colors are amazing. You might think this is like a sawgrass print or something, but this is beautiful. So I'm excited. But anyway, I just want to see what your guys' comments are, and then we're going to talk about Sublimation Camp. Oh, that's true, Roseanne. It kind of does look planned. Michelle, I don't know how to say your last name. Michelle C says, I use the silicone bands in the convection oven and it works great. And I've seen people do that and I understand why. Or some people tape it. Yeah. Honestly, I'm excited. But anyway. Oh, good. I'm so glad some of you are ready for Sublimation Camp. I just want to make sure that we go over it so that those of you guys who don't know about it, make sure you do. Let's see. Alex, thank you so much. I feel better for wanting to start trying now and taking it completely out of its box. Also, thanks to your audience for their support too. You are so welcome. And I'm so glad that you feel excited and empowered. Please feel free to have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. You're not donating a kidney. You're just going to have fun with your craft. And honestly, there are very, very, very few ways that you can actually like genuinely mess it up. I don't know. I can name a handful of people out of thousands of people that I've talked to over the course of my crafting career that have actually messed up their machine. Pretty much all mistakes are fixable. So take it out, have fun with it, and I'm sure that you'll do great. Okay, I'm so excited. Ooh, and Kristen said, first time I'm getting the all access pass route with one of these events. Good, Kristen. Okay, so let's talk about Sublimation Camp as a whole, in case you guys don't know about it, because it depends on your context. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're like, tell me more about this. So Sublimation Camp is a 3-day virtual event, and it starts this Thursday. So it's May 4th through May 6th, 2023. And it's a 3-day virtual event that obviously you can watch all from home. So it's not an event where we're going anywhere. It's all over the computer. And it is all about learning sublimation. So the way that this is going to work, I'll talk about the free pass first, and then I'll talk about the all access pass and kind of some benefits and how this stuff works. So the way that a lot of these summits work, because they do have a very similar pattern, you guys will know if you've participated in other summits with me that the pattern is kind of the same, but there are some subtle differences between each one. So for one thing, the event can be completely free for you, which is one of the reasons why I love it, because you can participate at the level that you are comfortable with, but it doesn't require an investment from you, which I love so much. So if you sign up for the free ticket, I'll go ahead and drop the free ticket here in the comments for you. The free ticket allows you to watch the classes that are available each day on the day that they are available. So hold on just a second. Let me type into my computer here. Sorry. Hold on. I'm going to move my iPad right here for just a second. Okay. Whoops. See, we're knocking stuff over. Free pass. Right there. So if you get the free pass, what that enables you to do is you get to watch the classes on each day of the event. So I told you that it's a 3-day virtual event. So it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there's a schedule of classes on Thursday, different classes on Friday, and different classes on Saturday. And with the free ticket, you get access starting at 9 a.m. that morning, Eastern time, 9 a.m. Eastern time, all the way through 9 a.m. Eastern time to the next morning. So your Thursday classes, you get until Friday at 9 a.m. Your Friday classes, you get until Saturday at 9 a.m. And your Saturday classes, you get all the way through Saturday until Sunday at 9 a.m. And there's going to be 8 or 9, 7 to 9 classes each of those days. So if you have the free pass, you want to make sure that you have your calendar marked and that you are prepared to watch the classes on that day because you only get 24 hours to access them. So that's the exciting part, but also a little bit of the downside because that's a lot of content to consume in one day. Now, my class that I'm going to be teaching is on day number 2. It's all about sublimating on glass, which is why I didn't want to do that today because I didn't want to give all my tips away since I have lots of good tips in my video. But each of the classes are around 30 minutes. So some are shorter, some are longer, but they're in the ballpark of 30 minutes. And you have 7 to 9 classes to watch each day. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that each of the classes comes with the template that we are using in the class. So whether that's a PNG sublimation file or an SVG file or whatever the case may be, each class comes with a free file that we are using in the video. So whether you watch all the classes or not, even if you only watch the ones you're interested in, make sure that each day you go into the Teachable login, because in this case we're using Teachable for Sublimation Camp, and you download the files for every single class because those are free to everyone regardless of the type of ticket that you have. Okay, so that's ultimately how it's going to work. Some other things that are fun and involved with Sublimation Camp are that there is a Sublimation Camp Campers Tent, which is a Facebook group where you can interact with myself, all the other speakers, and all of the other attendees in Sublimation Camp. So it's a really fun place to go because you'll get reminders about stuff. You'll get reminders about all the cool giveaways that are going on. You'll get a chance to interact and ask questions. So I definitely recommend joining the Facebook group as well. And within the Facebook group, this is really, really fun because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I used to be a summer camp counselor. So I love this theme. I think it's so cute. And if you go into the Facebook group, you can also download a bunch of different badges, which is so adorable. So you can get a first year camper badge, or if you participated in Sublimation Camp last year, you can get a second year camper badge. And I forgot to mirror a sublimation image and I ruined a blank and I made a project, and they have all these cute badges that you can download, and you can either just use those to post those in the sublimation group just for fun if you want, or you can actually download them and make something with them, which I think is adorable. So lots of really cool stuff going on. And yeah, I agree, Kristen. All the giveaways going on are phenomenal. Like they're giving away a lot of really good stuff because the event has a bunch of sponsors. So the sponsors are giving away some really generous offers, and some of the speakers are as well. I'm not giving away anything in particular this time. Last time I gave away a Cricut mug press on my last summit. So it just kind of depends on the class and stuff, but there's a lot of really fun stuff going on each day. So Michelle said, so we have 24 hours to watch them all. So Michelle, on the day, yes, on the day with each schedule, or with like each, sorry, let me start over. On the day of each scheduled day, you have 24 hours to watch each of those classes. So you're going to get a chance to watch them all over 3 days, but you're going to have quite a bit of content to watch on each day of the class with the free pass. Okay, does that make sense? I know, Dee, there are a lot of really cute badges. I thought those were so fun. Renee said, I always get the all access pass because I end up getting involved in something and miss half of what I wanted. So I agree. Yes, and Kristen made a super cute mug that she shared with all the badges, and I love it. I think it's adorable. And I was going to do that today, actually, Kristen, but Heat Transfer Warehouse is one of the sponsors of the event, and they already made me a Sublimation Camp mason jar. Isn't that cute? So I decided to not make another one because I wanted it to be something that everyone could use, since not everyone might do Sublimation Camp. So the free pass is one option, and it's more than a valid option. If you don't want to pay anything, you're not in a place to pay anything, totally understand. So that's a great one. But if you are not able to watch the classes on each scheduled day, your option is to do the all access pass. And when you get the all access pass, what that entails is you get replays of the classes for 1 year. So you don't have to watch in each 24-hour period. You get a chance to watch these classes for the whole next year. So that's a really, really big benefit, especially like if you work during the week and you're going to be at work on Thursday and Friday, or you just get busy and you forget. I oftentimes get the all access pass with these types of events. And actually last year, I was not a speaker in Sublimation Camp last year, but I bought the all access pass last year because I could see how much value that had. So I went ahead and bought it because I was like, I am definitely going to use this stuff more than just on the day of the event. So in addition to getting replays for 1 year of every single class, you're also going to get over $300 in different bonuses for purchasing the All Access Pass. And right now, the All Access Pass is the cheapest price it will ever be. So until tomorrow night, which is Wednesday night at midnight, the pass, the early bird pass, is $49. And I'm going to go ahead and post a link for that in the description also, or in the comments, because I want you guys to take advantage of this if you are thinking about doing it, because this is the best price that it's going to be. This is the lowest price that it's going to be. By the way, these are affiliate links. So if you purchase through my link, I do make a small commission off your purchase, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So something to keep in mind when you are clicking those links. But all the links that I dropped in the comments and in the description of my video and everything you'll see on my social media are all my affiliate links. But yes, so the bonuses, let's see if I can open mine up because I have an all access pass here. Let me look at some of these bonuses because I know one of the things that I contributed to the all access pass is in my class, I made 2 different projects. So you get 2 different files with my free class, whether you buy the all access pass or not. But I created a set of 4 designs, so 2 new, 2 from my class, that all the all access pass members are going to get as part of their bonus. So let me open this up if I can find the right email. Here we go. And I can tell you what some of the bonuses are for signing up for the all access pass. Okay. So the all access pass bonuses. Abby Kirsten contributed some cactus sublimation files. I contributed a set of sublimation files. Amy, I always want to say her last name wrong. Romeo? Romeo, maybe. Contributed some floral patterns and some sublimation floral patterns. Angie Holden from the Country Chic Cottage contributed a sublimation prep class, as well as her sublimation dictionary, sublimation patterns, and sublimation troubleshooting guide. Shanita Nickel from Do Dream On contributed sublimation files. Corey George is giving you Make Money with Sublimation, which is one of her paid offers that she's offering for free, as well as some sublimation files and a sublimation substrate notebook where you can keep track of all the things that you've tried sublimating on and keep notes on. It's really cool. Courtney Brickner from The Crafty Brick gave a sublimation time and temp cheat sheet, which is really cool. Creative Fabricus gave some free class and files. Jamila Payne gave a crafty business planner. Jamila Stewart gave half off of a private session with her. Jen Swift contributed some sublimation designs. Jennifer Maker gave her sublimation startup class that she normally charges for. Casey Klin gave sublimation trends. Kelsey Sapp gave a mock-ups class. Michelle Beaton gave sublimation files, and Stephanie Paxman gave patch designs. So you get all of those extra things. For right now, the early bird price, like I said, is $50. It's $49, but it's going to go up tomorrow night at midnight. So if you want to get the all access pass, I really recommend going ahead and getting it now because it's the best price it's ever going to be. And all of that doesn't even include any of the giveaways because you don't have to buy the all access pass to do the giveaways. Let's see. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to check and make sure I got all these comments. Thanks, Dee. Yeah, Michelle said, okay, so I might be able to do this with 2 toddlers. Yes. Yep, camp starts Thursday. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Let's see. I know, Kristen, it is hard because it's hard to decide whose links you're going to click on because there's so many people you love contributing to Sublimation Camp. Yes, let me get my calendar. I think they are doing a little welcome to camp live tomorrow. Yes, there is a pre-camp kickoff tomorrow, and I can't remember what time. But there is a camp kickoff event tomorrow. I think you're right, Dee. I think it might be at noon Eastern time. So if you go ahead and sign up and get into the Facebook group for whichever class you're going to, do, or excuse me, not whichever class, whichever pass you're going to do. Lord help me, y'all. These words are just not coming to me today. But you'll get notification of the pre-camp kickoff tomorrow through probably email and the Facebook group. Okay. Let's see what other questions we have. Hello. Okay. Jacqueline Smith said, can you do sublimation without a sublimation printer? Should tune in to learn sublimation. So Jacqueline, there are actually several classes that are talking about sublimation without a sublimation printer. So I think it's worth probably going in and at least signing up for the free pass and seeing what you can learn. Because I think that it's definitely, worth it, for sure. So, because people are going to teach you different techniques that don't require a printer. So another really cool thing about this particular summit, which I love, they are doing this differently this year than they did last year. So there are 9 different basics classes that are going to be free all 3 days. So even if you are a complete beginner, you know nothing about sublimation and you've never tried it before, 9 of the classes are in the basics section. And no matter what day you watch, you get to watch those for free, okay? Even with the free pass, pardon me. And then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the classes that you only get access to for 24 hours are a wide variety of different classes that are gonna teach you some different things. So all in all, it's over 30 different classes. let me pull up the schedule and we can talk about some different ones that are going to be on the class. I think it's awesome. Yay! Candace just got her all access pass. I'm so excited for you, Candace, because honestly, it's such a cool thing. Like, I paid for it when it was during the event last year. So I paid $10 more because tomorrow night at midnight, the class goes up actually $20. So it goes from $49 to $69 during camp. And then after camp, you can get your pass for $79. And then after May 14th, the price goes up to $99 for the whole rest of the year. So I really do think it's worth it. I know that sounds like a sales pitch, guys, but I promise it's not. Because when you think about it, if you're looking at over 30 different classes and they're around 30 minutes a piece, if you pay $49 for that, that's like $1 and some change per class. Like, that's not even $2 a class for these classes that are not anywhere else. Like, they are not going to be posted to YouTube or anything like that for quite some time because they are actually recorded for this event. So you're not going to find this content anywhere else. So that is something to consider because you'll have it for the whole next year. And the reason they only give you a year access versus like the lifetime is because sublimation information changes. The things we learn about it, the techniques that we do, those do change in the sublimation world quite a bit. So only giving you a year access is so that you're not watching this 5 years down the road when there's completely different technology than there was 5 years ago, if that makes any sense. So just some things to think about, but I totally understand if you feel like you want to stay with the free pass or that's the only thing you're in the position to go for, that's perfectly okay. Like, I totally get it. I participate in lots of summits and other things. Like, I'm in one right now for entrepreneurs and I have the free pass because I wasn't really sure how much I was going to participate. So I totally get it. I just want to make sure that if you guys are interested, you know about all the details with the cheapest price so that you don't spend more money than you have to. So something to keep in mind. So Kristen said, so last year I didn't think I'd be into sublimation, so I passed on signing up, and you kind of wish you would have. Well, it never hurts to go ahead and get a free ticket. Like, that's never going to hurt you. There's no penalty. Plus, if you want to sign up for the free ticket, I think they're giving away some passes also. Let me look at the giveaways. So we'll talk about giveaways, and then we'll talk about the class schedule, okay? So let's see, giveaways. They are giving away 10 all access passes to Sublimation Camp. So that's, of course, of everybody, but they are giving away a few all access passes. Plus, they are giving away a Sawgrass SG500 printer bundle from Corey and Angie, which is worth $600. Corey and Angie are also giving away a Cricut mug press, which is $180 value. Jennifer Maker is doing a huge giveaway. I don't know what it is. It just says Sublimation Camp giveaway from Jennifer Maker, $1,800 value, 31 different winners. So that's pretty cool. Heat Transfer Warehouse is giving 2 people $50 of store credit. And they're also giving 4 people $25 of store credit. The Heat Transfer Warehouse is giving away a sublimation oven. Creative Fabrica is donating an Easy Press as a giveaway. A full set of sublimation inks from Sawgrass is going to be given away. Artistry is giving away 4 sets of their sublimation markers. And Craft Chameleon is doing a snow globe tumbler and $50 in sublimation blanks. So there's tons of giveaways. If nothing else, sign up just for the giveaways because some of that stuff is really expensive and it would be awesome to win it instead of having to buy it. And it talks about all how to enter the giveaways and all that kind of stuff once you get into Sublimation Camp. So once you click on your link after you sign up, you'll get all that information. So let me check the comments and then we'll talk about the classes. Yay, Michelle, I'm excited for you. You guys are seriously going to love it. Like, it is awesome. It's going to be so worth it. And I'll be super involved with you guys. So you're welcome to tag me in the group, message me, do whatever, because I'll be around all 3 days hanging out. Like I said, my class is on day 2. So I'm teaching you all about how to sublimate on glass. And I'm doing 2 projects on day 2. So now let's talk about the schedule. So you might be like, okay, I'm learning about sublimation, but what exactly am I going to be learning? So the Sublimation Basics classes, here are the 9 classes that are available all 3 days. There is Sublimation for Beginners, how to get started. Sublimation Troubleshooting, everything you need to know. I just realized I have this all the way over here, and I don't know how well y'all can hear me. So let me move this a little closer. Move my tumbler over here so you can see it. And then the 3rd class is all about ICC profiles and color management. So if you are printing on your printer and your colors are really funky, one of the basics classes is all about ICC profiles. Then there's another class on sublimation supplies, tools, and accessories. Then there's a heat press comparison, what's best for your needs. And then Angie did a class on sublimation printer settings. And then there's another class on sublimation software, printing, resizing, and templates, which I think is amazing. Then there's a sublimation printer comparison with both Angie and Corey. And then Corey and Angie also did a class on our favorite sublimation blanks and where to find them. So all of those basics classes are going to be free all 3 days, regardless of your pass. Okay? So you can watch those the entire time. Yes, Dee, that's true. Some of them are giving discounts for a period of time. Yay, Dana, that's so exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. Or is it Dana or Dana? Because you have 2 N's, so it's throwing me off. So those are the basics classes that are available for all 3 days. And then day number 1, we're just going to run through these real quick, okay? So day number 1, the first class, sublimation without a printer. That's class number 1. So for those of you who were asking about it, still totally worth it. Class number 2, Spectacular Shirts, My Secrets to Sublimate All the Shirts by Jennifer Maker. Class number 3, which all these are pre-recorded. So as soon as it hits 9 a.m., you get access to all of them. They're all already recorded and edited for you, okay? So class number 3, Sublimation versus HTV, Heat Transfer Vinyl. So that's a great one if those of you who are new. Then there's Color Test, Different Blanks, Different Results, by Ann Farm, who is the Useless Crafter. Then there's 10 tips and tricks for sublimation and sawgrass. So if you have a sawgrass printer, lots of great information. And then Heat Transfer Warehouse is doing a class called Pressing More Than Your Average Sublimation Blank, which I watched. So I have a preview of a lot of these classes, guys, and I was up really, really late last night watching a lot of them because thanks, pregnancy, insomnia. And I watched that class last night and it was really good. Brooke does it from Heat Transfer Warehouse and it's a really good class. And then Jamila Stewart, which is her handle on social media is J Stewart's Laboratory, is large projects with a small printer. So if you can only print 8.5 by 11, Jamila's going to show you how to make larger projects than just what you can print. So that's just day 1. Day 2, you have Create Custom Fabric Bows with Sublimation by Kelsey Sapp. I watched this class last night. Sublimation Designs in Procreate in Just Minutes with Jen Swift. So if you are interested in drawing your own sublimation designs, like I am in Procreate, Jen has a really, really great class on how to do that. Shanita Nickel is doing Successfully Sublimating Sequins. Say that 3 times fast. So all about like the sequin pillows and backpacks that we've seen. Shanita is teaching you all about those. And then there's Sublimation Patches, Patch Me If You Can, which is Stephanie Paxman. I haven't watched that one yet, so I'm curious about that one. Then there's How to Make a Stainless Steel Snow Globe Tumbler by the Craft Chameleon. And then there's Creating Beautiful Sublimation Jewelry by Amy Romeo. I always have the hardest time with her last name. But she teaches about sublimation jewelry. Then you'll also see my class, Sublimation on Glass, Everything You Need to Know, by yours truly. And then Naomi Garcia is teaching how to use a sublimation oven with water bottles. So how to sublimate water bottles in a sublimation oven. Let me check the comments and then we'll see. Oh, there you go, Renee. So that would be super helpful. So yeah, I really think that it's going to be so helpful for you guys. Regardless of what you decide to do with your pass, this is such a great resource. And I just want to make sure you don't miss it. For those of you who are just jumping in, we did sublimate a tumbler already, a full wrap tumbler, my very first one. And now we're talking about Sublimation Camp. So we're going to talk about the day 3 schedule, then I'll wrap all that up, and I'm going to show you some mistakes that I've made with sublimation because I have kept a lot of them recently. Okay, so let's talk about day 3 schedule. Day 3 schedule, you're learning about sublimation versus screen printing by Jennifer Sanderson, who does, she's also known as Pigskins and Pigtails. Then how to combine sublimation and laser cutting with Corey George. So that's cool if you have a laser cutter. Creative Fabrica is teaching you sublimation on sticker vinyl. I watched that last night. She shows you how to sublimate on Oracal 651. And then day 3, Delonda from Cricketing with Delonda is teaching you about sublimation and direct-to-film hack for beginners. So you're going to learn how to use the DTF hack on, I'm guessing maybe a shirt or something. I haven't watched her class yet, but I'm sure it's really good. Then Abby Kirsten is teaching you how to make personalized wood signs with sublimation. Courtney Brickner is teaching you sublimation versus DTV, which is Caesar's direct to vinyl. So she's comparing the two of those for you. Then Jamela Payne is teaching you how to do photo text with sublimation on glitter. So that's going to be packed with all kinds of amazing stuff. And then lastly, how to create a sublimation design in Photoshop by Casey Klin. So tons and tons and tons of valuable information, great giveaways, fun stuff, and it's going to be so good. Yeah, and sorry guys, excuse me. Yeah, the Procreate class is really, really good, Dee. Dana said, what's the name of the Facebook group? And you know what? I don't know what the name of the Facebook group is off the top of my head, Dana, but if you go to your welcome email, that will have a link to join your Facebook group. So check your email, make sure you got one from Sublimation Camp. You can just search that in your search bar, and all of the information will be in your email already. I know, I love Delonda, and this is Delonda's first summit, so I talked to her a little bit about that and told her if she needed any help to let me know, because it is a little bit confusing if you've never done it before. But I have really come to enjoy these events because they're so fun. It's such a great way to get so many other creators together. I've had such a good time meeting all the different creators in the crafting space because even though, you know, I watch a lot of content from a lot of different people, I don't necessarily interact with them a lot. And so it's been really, really fun to meet all of them. And so many of them are so, so sweet. So I've had a blast with that. I agree, Emily. So many great craft teachers. So that is this week. That Sublimation Camp is May 4th through the 6th. Today is currently May 2nd. So it starts on Thursday, and I really, really, really don't want you guys to miss out. So make sure that you grab a ticket. I'll go ahead and pin my comment for the free pass on here. But I also have the all access pass and everything linked in the description of this video. So you can access that anytime all year. So even if you come across this video later, you can still go ahead and get this pass if you want. Okay, so now that we're done talking about that, let's talk about some of the mistakes Alex has made on sublimation because there have been so many, so many. And I want to prove to you guys that I'm a human being who also makes mistakes, which many of you are aware, but I've actually had people say to me before, they're like, yeah, right, Alex, I bet you never mess things up. You guys, I mess things up in sublimation and every craft all the time. You just don't usually see it. So let me show you. All right. Yay, Michelle, so excited for you. She just grabbed her free pass. You guys are going to love it. I'm so excited for you. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little so you guys can see what's going on. Sorry for like the weird angle now since you can't see my eyes, but I want to make sure you can see. All right, so item number 1. This was one of the very first glass cans I ever did. Let me put a piece of paper in it so you can see that it's purple. And it's not supposed to be. This is a fall tumbler. And it was the first time that my printer clogged. If you guys have seen that video on my YouTube channel, I did a whole video about how I knew my printer was clogged. And it's because my pumpkins came out purple. Like my cinnamon stick, this is definitely a fall design. and everything came out tinted purple, and it's not supposed to be. So there's a mistake for you. Yay, Deb got her free pass too. That's so exciting. Emily said, I would love for them to do an in-person summit. I would too, Emily. I would 1000% jump on that. And I think that maybe with the world coming back out of the pandemic, I think that might be possible in the future. It's just that is a lot more to organize. So I'm sure that's why for now they're keeping everything digital. So that's definitely an obvious mistake that I made on that one. This was also in my first batch of messed up tumblers. And it's not horrible. Like, this mistake is not massive. But you can see around the top here how, oh wait, sorry, let me turn it here. You can see around the top how I missed like the whole rim of the sunflower because I just didn't size my design appropriately. It needed to be a little bit shorter and I didn't do that appropriately. So it's cut off on both the top and the bottom. And I did the same thing on the other side, on this other tall flower. So both of these are from the first batch of glass cans that I ever made. That's actually when I got my PYD Life tumbler press. PYD Life sent it to me because I made a reel for them. And they sent me a bunch of blanks. And this was the very first time that I started playing with a bunch of these. And I just opened it up and started. Because again, sometimes it's just best to just open it up and try it and see what's going to happen. You're so welcome. I'm so glad that it helps. When I do lots of thorough explanation. That is definitely how I learn. So I try to do things for you guys that I would learn the same way. So I'm glad it's helpful. Candace said, my printer, the teal, is printing more blue than teal, and it's not clogged. It just started out of nowhere. So Candace, I would look into an ICC profile for that. And that's something they're going to cover in Sublimation Camp. So... okay, sorry, Dana. Okay, got it. 2 N's, Dana. Thank you for correcting me. Yes. But yes, Candace, I would look at ICC profiles. Corey's class on that is really, really good. So here's another one that I did, and this is actually from my Sublimation Camp class. As you can see, it's extremely light on the frosted glass. Now, one problem with this design is that I shouldn't have done like a yellow and green design. I shouldn't have done a yellow and green design on this frosted glass because it's making it a little bit hard to see, but it is really, really super light. So let me show you the finished one because I had to end up redoing it. Let me show you the finished one after I fix it. And so a couple of different things that I did to fix this one. One thing is that I used a different kind of paper so that I was able to see that this one looks so much better. So it's still not perfect, but it's much, much better. So what I ended up doing is I used a different paper and I gave it a longer time. So there wasn't a lot of ink release on this first one and I didn't give it quite enough time. So that's what I did to fix this one the second time around. And of course that's edited out of my class, so you'll never see the original mistake, but I definitely made a mistake in the middle of that video and ended up having to print it again. That's why I always buy multiple of my blanks because sometimes I need to use them. Here's 2 of them that I made a mistake, and it's not a terrible mistake, but again, I wasn't comfortable quite giving these because they were gifts. So the first one I did, I'll show you, is for my best friend when she got engaged last fall. And it says future, whoops, let me turn it this way. It says future Mrs. Black. And the wording is brown. I wanted black, but it printed brown. So that was just a color issue on my end. And color can be troubleshooted. Color is a tough one. So Candace, for your issue, I would look at a few different things. For example, I would try printing out of a different program for one. So look at some other places you can print your same design and see if you'll get better color from printing out of somewhere else. Also, double check that you have the correct ICC profile, because your ICC profile has to be correct, not only for the brand of sublimation ink you're using. I believe it's also set to your specific printer, and it might even be set to your individual program. So that's why I would experiment with some different things, but the color management class is great. So consider that. And you actually, if you bought the all access pass, you might already have access to the classes. I can't remember if you do or not, but I think so. So you might want to go check. And then this is my last glass can that I made a mistake on, but you can see here in the middle, actually on the camera, of course, it's not going to show. I did the same design again on the frosted glass, but the center is really, really light. So it's not showing very well on the camera, but in person you can see that on, whoops. So on this side it looks really good, and then it gets a lot lighter over here. So I ended up redoing it. I actually had to order some tumblers in the middle of making this because I wanted it to be a perfect gift, because it was a surprise for my best friend when she got engaged, and I didn't want to give her something that wasn't perfect. So not a huge deal. Like, none of these are like earth-shattering mistakes or anything like that, but they're mistakes nonetheless, and there was a reason that I didn't give these the right thing. Okay, Candace said she got the right ICC profile, but she might try alternate software. Yeah, and I would just try some different things, Candace, until you find out what works, because like anything else, it just takes some troubleshooting. But see if a different program will work better for you, different things like that. Okay, you might be right, Renee. She said, I think we have access to all 9 on the 4th. And yes, you'll have access to all the 9 basics as soon as they're available. Just different summits start differently. So like the last summit I did, as soon as you purchased the pass, you got access to all the classes. But for this one, you might have to wait until the beginning of Sublimation Camp. Jacqueline says, where do you view the classes? So Jacqueline, if you signed up for the free pass or the all access pass, either way, you'll want to look in your email and you'll get a welcome to Sublimation Camp email with links to go to the classes. Exactly, Renee. She said, not mistakes, learning opportunities. Amen. Exactly. And so the last mistake that I wanted to show you is a t-shirt. This is, you guys might recognize this because I did a video for this back in November because it was Thanksgiving. And this is my test shirt. So I knew that I wasn't going to make anything using this shirt in this size. This is the Silky Socks t-shirt and it has the black back, which is really cool. But I ended up using this as my kind of my test t-shirt. And I don't know how well you guys can tell it on the camera, but the very top of this is kind of blurry and ghosty, and the bottom of it looks perfect. So this was a pressing issue on my part, and I suspect that the issue was the collar. So that's why I always do a test shirt and make sure that I have everything good to go. And then I really like the way that this thankful turned out, actually. It just was really, really small. I don't think I made any particular mistakes. It just ended up being really, really small looking on the shirt. Because I couldn't print any bigger than 8.5 by 11. So yeah, I probably should have printed from another program like Photoshop or something like that where I could print a larger page size. But I just used my default printer printing app, and I wasn't able to make a very big design. So those are some sublimation mistakes that I've made. Just based on just different things I was trying and different things I was making. The only other mistake that I have in here is also from when I was making my best friend an engagement gift. And you can't tell on the camera, but I melted the faux leather. I melted it with my Cricut Easy Press Mini. So I hung on to that too because you can definitely see it in person. I melted some of the lines together because I left the Cricut Easy Press Mini on there for too long. So there you go. Proof that I really make mistakes. But sometimes it's just good, and I think it's comforting to see that other people make mistakes too. I don't know if that comforts any of you, but a lot of times I think it just makes people feel better to know that they're not the only ones who ever make mistakes. Because who wants to think that they're the only ones who ever messes anything up? Nobody wants to think that. Kristen said, this one we get access once it starts. Okay, cool. All right. So we've been over a lot of different things today. So just as a really, really super quick review, what we've done so far is we sublimated a full wrap tumbler using a Hotties tumbler with this fun tie-dye design, which is super cool. So thanks for walking through that with me. Then we talked all about Sublimation Camp, which starts this week, this Thursday, May 4th through the 6th, 2023. So make sure that you grab a ticket. I have a pinned comment here. And I have everything down in the description below as well. So if you come across this video later, you can get a free ticket and your all access pass using the links down in the description. And then last but not least, we went over some of the mistakes that I've made with my sublimation camp, or not just sublimation camp, different sublimation mistakes that I've made, and just in general, because I'm a human being and I'm still learning. I'm always learning, and I hope to always continue learning, because that's one of the things I really love, honestly, about crafting. I didn't always appreciate that about it, but that's one of the things I think that crafting genuinely has made me a better human being, because I'm more willing to make mistakes and give things a try, even if I don't know how they're gonna go. For example, so you guys may or may not know, my husband is redoing our master bathroom downstairs with our, that's like connected to our bedroom. And he had never tiled before. So he's redoing the whole bathroom, the whole thing. Like, we're painting the walls, we're redoing the floors, getting a new toilet, getting a new vanity, like the whole 9 yards. And we ripped out our tub shower combo, and he's actually creating just a shower, and he's tiling the whole thing, and it's brand new for him. So he started all that process, and then he started getting cold feet. So right before he started tile, he started getting really nervous, really anxious. He's like, I don't know how it's gonna go. What if it doesn't look good? He's done all this research and all this hard work. And I was like, stop. I was like, you're just gonna have to dive in, give it a try, and you're gonna have to learn as you go. It's not gonna be perfect, and that's okay, but you've done enough research and you have all the tools you need. You just need to start. So a couple weeks ago, it was like a Thursday night, and I sat behind him. So he was sitting in the shower, right, working on the tile, and I was sitting on a step stool behind him for like 2 hours, handing him stuff while we did the whole first row of tile, and it was miserable. But he learned a ton, and now he's almost finished with the shower, and you guys, he has absolutely killed it. Like, shout out to my husband, because he's absolutely smashing it. The tile looks great, and if he's never even done it before, he's gone through so many different things. We've had all kinds of unexpected things come up, as you always do with any of these types of projects. But he has killed every single one. But it's that same thing where you get stuck in your mind, where you think that you have to know every single step before you start. And I think there is, to a certain extent, you do need to know what you're diving into. You need to do some research and some thinking about how things are going to go. But like, at the end of the day, you just have to start. Because if you don't ever start, you'll never get your hands on it. You'll never learn it through my videos or somebody else's videos. You just have to put your hands on it and play with it. And I think another perspective that helped me, you guys will remember way back in the day when I worked at 143 Vinyl and I did all my lives with Heather, we always used to joke that Heather is a winger and I am a planner. So Heather would just wing her crafts and I would plan mine. But working with Heather so much and doing so many crafts with Heather really taught me that sometimes it's best to just see where it goes, because none of it is that serious. Like, especially with crafting, none of it's that serious. You're not making mistakes that are all that big of a deal. Make sure you always have a little bit extra, a little bit more than you need in case you mess up. But like, none of it's that serious, right? But we have tons of great resources for you, regardless of the type of craft you want to do. Tons of great resources for you between my website, DIYAlex.com, my YouTube channel, different summits like Sublimation Camp. Like, seriously, the resources of teaching you guys what you need to know is literally endless. So I do encourage you to check those out, but I also encourage you to rip off the Band-Aid and just start, because that's the only way you're really going to learn. So, yep, Andrew's killing it. He's doing so great. He's really, really close to finishing it. And then my mom is going to paint for us. And then after that, we're going to do the floor. Then we're getting a new toilet. We already have a new vanity waiting in the garage, ready to go in. And actually, I need to go on Instagram and update you guys because we've made a ton of progress since I showed you last. So it really is getting there. But for a while there, it was one of those moments where you're like, we may only have one bathroom for the rest of forever, which would not be a terrible thing. But honestly, with this little guy, I get up probably twice a night to use the bathroom, and I have to go all the way upstairs, which is not the end of the world. Like, definitely a first world problem, right? I'm still grateful that we have more than one bathroom, but I would really like to have my bathroom back. So I am really, really excited to see what it looks like in the end, because redoing our bathroom is a project that we have wanted to do since we moved into this house. Not that anything was wrong with it. It just was all contractor grade stuff from when we moved in. Our house was built in like 2003, I think. And so everything is just like plain Jane contractor. So we're really excited to be making all the design decisions and all that kind of stuff. So I'll, oh, thanks, Kristen. I'll go update you guys sometime soon on how the bathroom's looking, because it is really getting there and I'm really excited. Thanks, Dee. So Penguin is my cat, for those of you who don't know. She's asking about him, and he is doing great. He's awesome. Yesterday, he was super clingy with me, so he was all over the place. In fact, I have a box underneath my table, and Penguin has been coming and getting in the box multiple times a day, every day while I'm in here working. So he's doing great. Hey, Ashley, welcome. She said she got too caught up in her work. Well, that's funny you say that, because I'm literally about to finish up. Hi, Irma. Welcome. Yeah, we have been through so much today and talked about so many different things. So if you didn't get a chance, go ahead and watch that replay. And of course, don't forget, if you are new around here, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you learned something new, and make sure you subscribe for more tutorials, a lot like this one. Not every single Tuesday anymore, every few Tuesdays. But tons of great content. If you are new around here, feel free to check out all the videos that I've done over the past 4 years. There's just about anything you can think of. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. It's been such a fun